Have you ever dreamed of going on safari in East Africa? Wild4 African Photo Safaris can make that dream come true. Hi, I'm Stain and I'm the safari expert, and I'm in Kenya's Maasai Mara with Wild4 African Photo Safaris. And over the past few days we've been photographing the Great Migration and everything else that this wild and wonderful destination has to offer. I've been lucky enough that Stu Porter, the founder of Wild4, has been leading my trip, so let's ask him to tell you a little bit more about his company and the photo safaris that they lead.
Hi, I'm Stu Porter, and in 2003 my wife and I started Wild4 African Photo Safaris. Initially we did a lot of tours around the Kruger National Park in South Africa, but more recently we've partnered with two amazing Kenyans, Thomas and Mamai. Thomas does all our logistics and hard work in the office, arranging the trips, while Mamai does our guiding out in the field. He's a professional local guide, and together we feel we make an amazing team. Well, in East Africa we run small group safaris for no more than 6 photographers and 3 people per vehicle, and that's crucial because each person needs the entire row to themselves so that they can photograph from both sides of the vehicle, as well as having enough space for their equipment. For the purposes of continuity, you'll always have the same guide and the same vehicle, and that allows your guide to get to know you and to learn what you like to photograph.
Stu has 2 photographic vehicles in Kenya, so I asked him to show us what makes them special and how their design benefits photographers.
So they're photographically modified to make it easier for photographers. One of the main things with photography out here is that you need space. So we opted to get rid of the standard glass windows and have a roll canvas window, which gives a better view for everybody to look out and to photograph from. In addition to that, a very important thing in these vehicles is the photographic height, what is comfortable to rest your lens on. So we've designed an adjustable photo plate that can be adjusted to the different sizes of people. And on top of that, we've got bean bags specifically made for these vehicles, and they are strapped on 100% of the time, so they never ever fall out, which is a huge problem in the bumpy Mara and these areas in East Africa. So that's a major thing. You can adjust the height even further than the actual plate itself. So we designed these smaller rectangular little bean bags that have Velcro. So again, they don't fall out, they're stuck on there. They will never roll out when you're bumping around in the Mara. So they will be added to give you extra height.
Fantastic. Well, show us a little bit inside.
Absolutely.
I'll go in first.
Right, so now we're on the inside. A further modification that we opt for is a rollback canvas roof. You can opt for a pop roof, which we also can do, but personally I find the rollback roof is better. That gives you open shooting to the sky when you're shooting birds. It opens up the vehicle so you can see better, and in the case of rain you can easily just quickly roll the canvas back. And also, if you're getting hot, waiting for a river crossing, for example, you can roll that back and feel comfortable underneath. On top of that, we've got more bean bags. These bean bags will sort of stay up here, easy to rest your camera on, and they're not going to fall out because of the safety bar that we've installed here as well. So these bags will be used when you're shooting from the roof.
And then what's that little pokey thing I see at the back there?
Yes, this little guy here is quite an interesting little addition we made. So around the vehicle we've got a number of these little installation points for different size pipes that will take a GoPro. So you can set this up on that pipe, and while you're driving you can film yourself photographing, or just as you drive through the beautiful Mara.
And you were saying that you always lead small group photo safaris. Show us a little bit about the inside when you look at actual seating and the amount of space that you have inside.
Yeah, definitely. So very important in my opinion is that if you're a photographer, you need 2 things in a vehicle. The one will be an entire row of seats to yourself. You do not want to share these seats with anybody else. What that allows you to do is to shoot from both sides of the vehicle without anybody getting in your way. And it also allows you to keep your camera equipment together with you and not have to share the space with anybody else's gear.
And then I see you don't have any headrests in.
Yes, we have headrests for those days when we go and wait at the river, maybe for a river crossing. And another quick thing about the seat, it is reclinable, so you can take a little bit of a rest, a nap, while we wait for the crossings. But not having the headrests means that you can also actually see a lot better without them in the way. If they're in the way, they're cluttered.
And then what about all your bits and bobs? You spoke about a GoPro earlier, other little things, batteries, your hat, your sunglasses, binoculars. Where do all of those go?
Yes, yeah, let me show you that. So we came up with a sort of a customized special design for the back seat pockets. Each person will have 2 of these pockets, which they can put binoculars, cell phones. This pocket is specially designed to take a 70 to 200 with a body on it already. And you've got a nice pocket here for your water bottle. On top of that, there's a charging facility built inside. So if you need to charge camera batteries at any time, we've got an inverter, and that will charge up any cameras or phones that you need to charge.
Unbelievable. And tell me, I know that these vehicles obviously stay here in Kenya. What happens when you lead a safari across the border, like your Best of East Africa, where you go from Kenya across to Tanzania?
We wish we could take this vehicle with us, but the way that we get round that, and we try to copy what we have here. So we take with us some of the bean bags, and we use molar bags that hang off the door and on the sides, and then we take along with us these velcroed adjustable height bean bags to allow us to have a comfortable shooting position, and the same as from the roof, using the bean bags that are there already. One thing I forgot to mention is that we provide one of these for each photographer in the vehicle on Kenya and Tanzania trips. And that's a visual echoes panning plate. They're very handy pieces of equipment, I find, and to use them you need to have either a lens foot that's already cut with the Arca Swiss style foot, or you buy a lens plate that goes on the bottom of your lens foot. Then you just simply attach it, and once it's nice and tight, never carry it by the lens, the actual plate itself, always carry it by the lens foot. And now swing it round. I like to place it horizontally on the bag like this. That actually also gives you a little bit of extra height. What it does though, it allows you to do a very smooth panning motion. It's fantastic for videos, and also if you're following anything that's moving fast, maybe walking fast or running. What it also does is it lifts your focus ring off the bean bag. If you don't use the panning plate, your focus ring is often resting on the bean bag, and if you're trying to pan or follow something that's moving, your focus ring is adjusted and you could lose focus. If you're using a zoom lens, then that also allows you to zoom in and out without having to fight with the zoom if it's resting on the beanbag. So that's a very cool little piece of equipment that we offer our clients on our trips. We lead a number of scheduled safaris to iconic destinations here in East Africa, like the Maasai Mara, Serengeti, Samburu, Amboseli, but we also lead trips to South Africa, Namibia and Botswana. Over and above our scheduled safaris, we also run custom safaris to any destination that you might want to visit for as long as you want. I do lead some of these safaris, but they can also be led by one of our professional guides like Mamai, if you don't need specific photographic tuition. Or we collaborate with other professional photographic guides who share our values. No matter where you go or who you go with, your Wild4 Photo Safari will always be a small group, and it'll always focus on the photographic details.
It's obvious that Wild4 African Photo Safaris was designed for photographers by a photographer, making it extremely easy and comfortable to take photos no matter which wild and wonderful destination you visit. And I must say, I really enjoyed the fact that even though we stayed in wonderful accommodation, we spent less time in camp and more time out here photographing animals. Last but not least, the knowledge and experience of my local guide Maasai added immense value to the trip. For me, it's all about the details, and these guys really went out of their way to ensure that I had a memorable safari. If you want to book your safari with Wild4 African Photo Safaris, simply send an email to wild4photographic-safaris@gmail.com or visit their website at www.wild4photographic-safaris.com.